people? What's good? This is Rachel, and welcome to the College for the Culture podcast. So, this is kind of a little different than content I usually do, but it's still a very important issue. So, for those who don't know, there's a lot of crises and movements happening in different African countries due to like colonialism, corrupt government, police brutality, and a lot of other things. So, today we're going to take a break from the college process stuff and talk about the ENDSARS movement, the state of Nigeria right now, the youth of Nigeria, and how we can help as BIPOC people in the diaspora. So, to discuss this important topic, I have a very special melanated guest with me. Today, I have Okpara, yeah. Joel, who is one of the social media chairs in the Youth of Nigeria Association. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to speak about this topic. And we know it's been a raging topic over the past few weeks. So this is very important. And I'm very grateful for the platform to help highlight this issue.
Right. Awesome. So we're going to get this started. So, first, I wanted to ask just for you to give a little background on what is SARS, what's the end SARS movement, and where it is at right now, just for people that don't know like anything about it.
SARS is the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Yeah, that is the abbreviation, SARS. They were created to combat the increase in armed robberies in Nigeria. But as time went on, they deviated from their original task. They they started harassing innocent citizens. They especially focused on the youths. Anybody they see with that looks, a bit well off, they tend to try to extort them. So, for example, kids that have like iPhones and stuff, things that they feel the average Nigerian kid of that age shouldn't have. They question them. They sometimes take their phones and go through everything, breaching privacy. And sometimes these youths they speak up, they fight back, and as any normal person would, and they get punished for that. Sometimes the kids, they if they see them in like flashy cars, they sometimes walk with them to like they ask them for bribes and stuff. And if they can't get bribes, they take them to like the ATMs and like withdraw the money from them right there. So recently, well, the killings have been going on for a long time, but recently the youth said no more. They decided to stand up. It was a very, very, very big movement. It was very successful in the way that it garnered support from every single tribe, every single age group. We had mothers, we had grandmothers marching, we had people of different professions marching, we had people of different tribes, and this is the very important, the unity. That's what we had been lacking a lot in these movements, in these talks, in these debates, is unity. Every time we try to, bring up something meaningful, sometimes tribe tends to like break it apart.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to start deviating from the main issue. But this time, everybody gelled perfectly. They marched as a nation. They marched with one purpose, and that was to get rid of the SARS group. And it was for them. I would not say it was successful, but it shook the nation to the point that everything was laid bare. Before, nobody knew about this, but now everybody knows this is what is going on in the Nigerian government. And then the movement became bigger. It didn't stop at the SARS movement. It became and bad governance in Nigeria. So it transcended the initial purpose, and that was very important too, because Our leaders have been very, very, very bad over the years, probably since inception, are like the first two or three presidents. The rest after that have been pretty, very, 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 very bad. And as a result, the youths is suffering. Everybody is suffering, but the youths especially are suffering because they have all these innovations they want to do, but then you have a government that doesn't facilitate that. We have people graduating from universities and end up hawking food on the street with a bachelor's degree. They can't get jobs because these jobs are giving to people whose family are well off. You know, they could buy their way to these jobs. So we have these innovative young people on the streets just suffering bad government, and it trickles down through every single part of the country. So it starts from the top, obviously, with the government, and then it goes down to the constituents, you know, the governors, the local government chairmen. We have nepotism everywhere. That we have people that have been in government since I was a kid.
Wow.
The current president, yes, the current president was the grand commander, I think, when I was a kid, or before I was even born. He already ruled the country, but then again he came back and now somehow he's still in government. We've had people change positions from like, it's that's how it is a cabal. It is like the power never actually leaves their hands. They just transfer it to their friends. They transfer it to people that they know they can go to and access this power whenever they want. So even if they get voted out of office, they still somehow hold a position in government that enables them direct access to funds and stuff. And then we've had comical disappearances of like funds. We once had they said a snake ate all the money in the in the storage. And that was very, everybody was shocked because what do you mean a snake ate all the money in the storage? What kind of snake is that? And
Yeah.
like who keeps money in a, hard like paper money in the store? It doesn't make sense. And they just think we're fools. I feel like they think we're fools, which is why
Mhm.
when everybody got up and said ENDSARS, they thought we were joking. And then when they saw the masses, they saw everybody, they got scared. They got scared, and I think that's
Mhm.
what led to the Lekki massacre at the Lekki toll gate on October 10th, October 20th, 2020. And yeah, they know they were doing wrong. They know we were getting too strong for them. They know we were getting all the support we needed. And
Mhm.
that's why they took those lives to kind of confine us. But it's too late for them because the movement has gone past individuals. Now we have families. We are a family now. We've been a family, but now we've bonded very strongly. And now we know that we have people that will back us. We know that we are capable of coming together, because again, that was one of the biggest issues. We never knew, like, we protest for one day and then we stop. Protest for like 3 days and then we stop. But this time everybody, they kept going. And like at the toll gate massacre, it was such like unity. You saw people out there with like pots and pans, they cooking right there. They had companies giving them food, just enabling the movement. Everybody was arms in arms for this. But then they shot at the peaceful protesters. They killed them. And now, that just affected everybody mentally. But they think we're done, but we're not done. We're really just getting started.
Mm. Wow. That's like that's a lot. A lot's going on over there. And I do want
Yeah.
to unpack like everything that you said. You did say earlier um it's not a success 100%. So I know that right now in America everyone's kind of distracted with a lot of things like the election, things like that. Like
Mhm.
did protesting like stop necessarily? Was there like pushback that is causing some like disturbance in the movement a little bit?
Yes, there were pushbacks because after the massacre, um it was expected, obviously, that most people would go back home, because
Mm.
now they're fearing for their lives. And that was the whole premise. That's the main reason this group became so notorious. They feel like they have all the power in the world. They could do anything they want. They could
Yeah.
beat up anybody in the street they want. So they feel like they have all this power, and the government is doing absolutely nothing to stop that. They like, for example, if you have dreads on the, like if you're walking and you have dreads in your head, they feel like they can just take scissors to your hair, like hair you've been growing for like however long. They feel like they could take scissors to it and nothing would happen to them, because obviously they are part of that division that
Mhm.
feel like they hold absolute power. They could take your phones, like I said before, go to your ATM, withdraw your hard-earned money, just because they feel like it. And then we also have the cops, the regular cops, going in on this, and people make the argument that um this also was what fueled the end bad governance movement. People had the argument that since cops are not being paid enough, they feel the need to take bribes to extort innocent citizens. But um, yeah, there's two sides to that story. Yes, I agree to a point, but then again, it's out of the moral compass to steal. It's still stealing from
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like at the end of the day, we could always say it is the government's fault. It is the government's fault. But at the end of the day, we have to play our own part, I
Yeah.
guess, in staying human, because that's all we have now, humanity. We have to stay human. And we are doing our best. We're trying our best. This is definitely not over yet. Um, it is definitely just the beginning.
Hmm. Wow. I think also an important thing you did say was that this is a very youth led movement. Like, this is mostly the young people, like, saying we've had enough of being treated this way and we're going to try and do something about it. And I wanted to ask a little bit about that as well. Like, how have, because this is youth led, like, how have the youth, like, amplified this movement? Like, how have the youth made this movement what it is?
That was the driving force of this movement. The power of social media. The
Mm.
youth, they
Yeah.
shared, they documented stories, they put it out there, they got retweets, they had shares on Facebook, Instagram. So everybody, they were able to reach a way wider platform that they would have reached without social media. And also the fact that the future is for the youth and they're the ones suffering mostly in the present drove this movement also, because it hit very, very close. And most of them, they probably had friends probably shot
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
no reason by this group. They probably have had friends extorted, they've had family. And that it's a very, it's a stronger purpose when you feel like, when there's a chance that you might be next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the youths are the one being targeted the most. This is why the youths were the driving force of this movement. This is why the youths were able to totally organize this in a peaceful and commendable manner.
Mm.
We had that toll gate site was packed. I'm talking thousands of people. They had a church service there. They had a football watch, a game, football game watch party. They had music. They had everything. It was a family. So
Mm.
yeah, this is very important, because even the president called the youths lazy. I forgot. I think that was in 2017. He called
Mm.
the youths lazy for some reason. And Now he knows they're not, because he's seen what they could do. He's seen what we can do.
Yeah.
He's seen that we can move governments, we can move mountains, literally, because these people, they came from different works of life. They shut down the government, to be honest, because they blocked down roads. Lagos itself is a very, very busy state. The youth, they didn't care about that. They locked down the state. They marched through the cities, they marched through towns. Everybody was marching. Mothers were marching for their sons. Everybody was out there because everybody needed to be heard. Because every time they think we are joking, like I said, he called us lazy. They feel like we could do this, probably 1 day or 2 day, we're done. Or sometimes when people protest, they tend to bribe their leaders, so their leaders could like tell the followers to go away. But this time,
Mm-hmm.
there was no one leader. Everybody were leaders, so it wasn't easy for them to break down this
Break
group.
it
We
down.
were
Yeah.
we were too strong, and that was why they felt they needed to use violence to stop the movement. Which again, in and of itself, is a show of absolute power that they think they have to take lives, because that's what they've been doing. With being jury, judge, and executioner, they think you committed a crime. They don't take you to the police. You don't get a fair trial. you you're shot right there. One of the things most Nigerians are told, do not get in their vans, because that's what they tend to do. They tell you to like, come in the van, we have to talk about this. If you get in that van, it's over for you.
Wow.
There's a big chance you're never coming out of that van alive.
Wow.
So yeah, the youths, they've suffered enough. They go through rigorous educational process in Nigeria. Most of them come out with degrees, and then there's nothing out there
Oh,
for
there's
them.
no job waiting. Yeah.
So there is no jobs out there for them. Even if they're qualified for these jobs, sometimes they have to the greedy managers have to take bribes, to like favor one or the other person. And what if these youths do not have, money and stuff? And it's again against the moral compass, because you're supposed to be hired for your abilities, not for, how much money you have. But that ends up being the case most time.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing people out there looking for jobs for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Now in Nigeria, every youth, even after the university, they have to learn a trade, because if not, you might not make it. To be honest, you're gonna be hungry every day.
Yeah.
So you have to learn a trade. Yeah. So that's how it is. They came out, everybody came out, and these people think they can stop us with violence. Even when they were shooting at the protesters, people were still there. They were still standing. They were not shaken. And at the end of the day, everybody, they're gonna get punished for this. They feel like they have absolute power, but power is not constant. Power changes. So these people will definitely get punished for this, and their their cloak of invisibility that they think they have will come down one day, and they will see for themselves what they have done to this wonderful country.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. They have blood on their hands at this point. Like, it's really not looking good for them. And
Mhm.
everyone in the world could definitely see that, especially what you said by the youth using social media and letting their voices be known. Like, I know that in Twitter, like hashtag ENDSARS was trending for a long time, to the point where like celebrities, Beyonce, Rihanna, even like Hillary Clinton was like at Buhari, like, what are you gonna do about this? Like, everyone was well aware of what was going on and couldn't escape like um the movement. Everyone was seeing videos, like protests happening, reading people's stories all over the place. It went in many different major media outlets. So they definitely did like a really good job of like making sure their voices were like amplified, and seeing all the protests all over the world, like here in NYC, even in Europe, many European countries, there was protests as well. So it was definitely very, very interesting and really like powerful, like seeing how the youth amplified their voices, which is also interesting how the government also responded. Because I even heard like some government officials were like, this social media, like the youth are being like social media is making them like spew lies and corruption in social media, blah blah blah, when it literally wasn't the case. Like that's how people were aware of what was going on with social media. um so twisting the narrative there like definitely was not right on their part. But yeah. um
Yeah. And again, they try to do this, but the youth weren't just typing words. They had videos. They had hard proof of
yeah.
these
Yeah.
police brutalities. You had victims that come out and tell their stories. Most of the youths have gone through this, but they didn't want to speak out because they felt like they didn't have a voice. But
Mm,
once they recognized that that voice was there for them, speaking out. This was another thing that had solidified the movement experiences. So everybody was speaking out. Everybody was out there because they felt so diminished. They felt so decimated that how can they be in this country suffering, and then when they go out there to make their lives better, or where they end up making their life better, they have people like out there ready to steal from them
mhm.
money and sometimes their lives. So it's very, very disheartening.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think also you talked about this earlier, but I wanted to bring up how this is not just like ends at SARS. Like this is about reconstructing Nigeria, ending bad government. Could you talk a little bit about that, like how the movement has expanded into reconstructing Nigeria and how the youth are demanding that now?
Yes, the movement reconfigured. It never lost its identity of being an NSARS movement, but instead it incorporated other movements that arose during these protests. Because the youths, we thought about it. This it runs deeper than just SARS. This is about the whole country. This is about the government from head to toe. This is about policies. This is about the people in government. So we decided that we have to also speak up about the broader issues, which are the government. So we have to end bad governance in Nigeria. We have to reconstruct Nigeria because um, it's like a tree that has like bad roots. It might look good on the outside, but inside it's dying, and that's the problem. That is the focus. That's where the focus should be, in the roots. So we decided to delve deeper. We decided to uproot the the cause of everything. So we laid into the foundations of this country. We laid into the policies that hold it together. We laid
Mhm.
into the people that make these policies. Example, the president. I never quite understood the idea of having a president that doesn't even know how to speak to the people. The
Yeah.
president doesn't speak that much, which is very embarrassing.
Yeah, didn't he
After a
like not
major,
speak out for a while? And then when he
yes,
did speak
he did
out, he
not.
was just saying, "Stop protesting." And the
Yeah,
diaspora, everyone, you guys are misinformed by what's going on because you're not actually in Nigeria, which like there's video evidence that there's police brutality. I don't know what he was talking about. Basically as like a veil of a threat, like kind of threatening the youth to stop in a way. Isn't that what he did?
yeah. That's literally what he did. He didn't address the fact of what the youth are protesting about. He didn't address the evidence that they had. He didn't address the premise of the policies that brought all of this together. Instead, he focused on let's end this movement now, stop protesting. And it was very everybody saw the outrage.
Yeah.
It was a slap in the face. We're out here days in the cold of the night, morning till night. We're outside protesting, and then instead of the president to come and tell us, this is what we're gonna do to combat this is what we're gonna do to combat that, you're gonna tell us to stop protesting. It doesn't. It is. It was very. It was very crazy, to be honest. So I think that made everybody even madder. And the thing with the president is he doesn't look fit to run a country at all. He doesn't. Sometimes he looks lost. He doesn't. I don't think he even knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's
Isn't
just
he not in
there.
Nigeria like half the time? Doesn't he always go to London and
Yes, he's. That's the. Not just him. Him and everybody else in government. They spend more time out of the country than in the country they're supposed to be governing. So it was very. I don't even know how to describe it. It just needed reconstructing. We had
yeah.
to like make it known like this doesn't make sense. This is not how you run a country. We are youths, but we're not stupid.
Yeah.
No president should be spending more time out of the country he's supposed to be running than his actual country. And then
Yeah.
it's just, oh Lord,
Yeah, definitely.
it was great.
And even like
Then you
also
had
what you said earlier, it doesn't make sense that as big of a country and as populous of a country as Nigeria, that once you get out of college, you can't find a job. And that's like the majority of youth. Once you have to start trading when you probably were studying to do business or studying to do engineering. That doesn't make any sense. Like that alone shows that there's something wrong with the country. That like all those issues and people can't even walk safely, like fear of like getting stopped by the police for just wearing jewelry, um which is like we like why we which is why like what you're saying, like this is beyond like SARS. Like this is about what is a better future for the youth. What do the youth want to see? um how can they prosper as the next generation of people?
yes, most definitely. And the youths also feel like they're not being, included in most of the plannings in Nigeria. We've had this saying for like years that we are the leaders of tomorrow, but when is that tomorrow going to be? You know what I mean? It's like we've been in tomorrow forever and yet we see nothing. So the future was looking way too bleak for them to just stand by and do nothing. So everybody had to speak out. And the great thing about this is the movement is not going to die. It's not going to die anytime soon. Um, we have shaken enough foundations that it will ripple for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
And the president also made a statement that the SARS has been disbanded.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about that was it was disbanded 3 years ago, 2 years ago, it was disbanded last year,
Hmm.
and then it was disbanded again this year. So we didn't take that obviously because we knew that was just a sham. You can't have a disbanded group in government and then they appear the next year again. It doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
he thought after saying that everybody would be like, "Yay, we got what we wanted." But we know that was a lie. That was
Yeah.
just something he said to like appease. But nobody was appeased because we know the truth, which is why we made the movement even stronger, way beyond SARS. It became about the government. It
Mm-hmm.
became about the country. And then they started feeling the fire. They started feeling the heat of like the protest. They started feeling the brunt of it,
Yeah.
which is why they felt the need to, kill innocent citizens to send out a message like this is what happens if you try to speak up against us, which is it's tyranny, to be honest. That is what it is. That is what a tyrannical government is. You think you own the life of your citizens. You think you can do anything you want with them. That is tyranny. It's not a democracy at all. And for the president to sit in another country and decide that he's going to ignore everything and talk about his interests, that was a slap in the face, and that was unacceptable.
Yeah. Wow. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. Like, it's a common theme in not only Nigeria, many countries, how like corrupt the government can be and how that messes up the progress of the people. And I did also want to ask like about Nigerians in the diaspora. So like Nigerians in America, the UK, different countries. Like, do you have a sense of how they are feeling with this movement? Like, I know I'm fun fact, I'm Nigerian for people listening that didn't know. So I know how I feel about it, but do you have a sense of how Nigerians outside of Nigeria are reacting to this and how they're feeling about this and what they're doing about it?
Nigerians in diaspora, they responded to this as every normal Nigerian would, with rage. They were out there protesting too. We stormed the embassies. We were there. We speaking out, making sure that everybody knows, everybody in Nigeria knows that they're not alone. Their
Mm,
brothers and sisters everywhere in the world stands with them. It was depressing at first because we was like, oh Lord, is this still going on? Because, people like me, you know, I came here about 6 years ago. So I've
mhm.
seen like these kind of stuff happen before. But then it coming back up, it's like, what? This is still happening six
Yeah.
years later. So it was it was very, it caused anger a lot. So especially among the youth. So I commend the efforts of like everybody in diaspora because they came out regardless of the coronavirus crisis
Mhm.
safely. Obviously, they were out there protesting, um, letting the Nigerian government know that their brothers in Nigeria they're not alone. We're all here for them, and we're all gonna speak out. Because even like us here, that sometimes we travel back home, we we are definitely gonna be victims of this, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
when we travel back
Yeah.
home, we obviously, most of us obviously gonna have iPhones, have piercings, ear piercings, because we live in a more lax society. We're gonna have piercings, tattoos, hair braided, and they definitely gonna take us for, you know, the kind of people that they kill.
Mhm.
They're the kind of people that they harass. So it was important. It was important that everybody was on the same page. It was important that everybody came to speak out, and it was very commendable, the efforts of every single person in moving this movement to what it is today.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I also wanted to bring out about like how like the mental health of like Nigerians in this during this movement during this time. Um you could talk about how you are feeling about it personally because I know like you can't really speak for how's every Nigerian in the world feeling about it. But seeing it must be very depressing, a little bit like frustrating seeing like pictures and videos in your timeline of Nigerians being killed or being mistreated. I know that like the bloody Nigerian flag was trending a lot, and that made a lot of people feel like disgusted a little bit, like, wow, like this is what's going on. I know that I had to take a step back and not really look at any more developments with it because it was kind of getting a little bit too much. But how do you feel like you could talk about yourself, how you're feeling, but also like how were the mental health of Nigerians like during this? time?
Uh, During this time, I think most of the Nigerians, we cannot speaking for everybody, but me, myself, and like my friends around me, we were very shocked, and it was a very hard week, you know, because that was the month of the it was the month of the Nigerian independence
Yeah,
day.
Oktoberfest. Yeah.
So yeah, so it was it was very sad. It was very depressing, to be honest, because we just finished celebrating, the pride we had in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless of whatever had went on in Nigeria before, we still hold pride in like where we came from, so hold
Yeah.
pride in our cultures. And just weeks after this, we see the evils that still continue to just overshadow every good thing that comes out of Nigeria. So it was very depressing. I think for like those 2 days, most of us didn't like we weren't in the right state of mind. I was texting my friends, asking them how everything was going.
Mm-hmm.
Because during the protest, they became like the same here. When the Black Lives Matter protests were going on, we
Yeah.
had like we had hoodlums just breaking into stuff, taking people's
Yeah.
belongings and stuff. So that was the same back there. In the guise of being peaceful protesters, we had people there just breaking up the good of the protest. So I was asking everybody how they were doing. My group, the Youths of Nigeria Association, we had like conversations. We kept in touch with each other to just see how we were all feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
that whole week it was very sad in the history of the country. It was one of the saddest days. It is definitely the saddest day in the country since I was born, since I can remember. Because I lived in Nigeria up until I was 14,
Mm-hmm.
and I never witnessed anything like this. Well, besides the Boko Haram bombings that
Yeah.
happen
Yeah.
often, yeah, I've never experienced anything like this. I've never seen any movement like this. I've seen protests, but none were like this massive.
Yeah.
So I was very it was very disheartening. Um it just if it was successful in showing the world what the bad that we tend to not see as much. So that was a positive thing about it,
Mm-hmm.
about the movement, is that it showed the whole world. It didn't just show Nigeria and Nigerians because we already know what's going on. It
Yeah.
showed the whole world, people that live in countries of comfort, people that live with privilege. It showed everybody that this is what is going on in this country. This is what the government is doing. This is how the citizens are being treated. So yeah, that week was very sad. And yeah, the pro we I think after that day we had protests again. We had the vigils. We had like a candlelight for the people that were killed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we just bonded very closely as a family. And I think everybody in Nigeria now feels more of like a family than they did before,
Yeah.
because we're realizing like the problem, the enemy is not the tribes, the enemy is not the individuals. We see who the common enemy is, and
Mm-hmm.
we are very close now. We are very united more than we have ever been.
Yeah. Definitely. I do know, like, I've heard from people, like, yeah, this is really hard. Like, I have to take a step back. But you even answered my next question, like, how to take care of yourself through all of that and, like, checking up on people, having conversations, calling family, friends. Um, is definitely a great way to relieve yourself of like the stress and the frustration from seeing injustice left and right all over the place. So um that's like really great that you were able to do that and have that conversation, and it made, and that's what a lot of people are doing, and it's making people come together and like bond as a family, that no matter where you are in the country or in the world, like you're still a Nigerian and you're worthy to be like heard and like respected and like talk about your feelings and stuff like that. So I was gonna also ask, which is the most important question for people, like how can somebody still like help in this movement? Like what could somebody do, whether they're in Nigeria or not in Nigeria? Like how can they support this movement and help it move forward?
Most people, we could support this movement by not letting it die, like just keep posting about it, keep sharing, keep supporting, keep letting your voice be heard. And also there are like GoFundMe's, there are donations you can make to organizations
Mhm.
in the country that are working with Nigerians to help mitigate the effects of the violence against them, to help families that have been affected by this, to help individuals that have been affected by this. It can hold like, you know, like an organizations like yours can hold talks about this, bring awareness to this topic. Just keep the candle aflame, keep the flame burning. Do not let it die. We will be doing our best to keep it burning. We will do our best to never let the topic go to waste, to never let it go like under the radar. We'll keep it at the top of our to-do list. We keep it, as an important part of us because it is. So yes, for the most part, awareness, 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 because that is what brought this movement to where it is today. It is what brought the it is what gave power to the movement, because by awareness we were able to get our message across to the ends of the earth. We were able to get our message across from Nigeria to India to the Antarctic, everywhere. Everybody knows about ENDSARS movement, but we have to keep the information coming. We have to keep updating people. We have to just not let the movement go to waste.
Yes, definitely. Like y'all keep posting about it, tweeting about it, using the hashtags, everything. I'm gonna on the Instagram put like different links with articles and like donation links. I know there's some GoFundMe's. I know there's a feminist coalition that made like a Bitcoin donation link so that you could send money there, and it's all going directly to medical supplies, food, different things that people need to help keep this going and to just help people, because
Yes.
we're all living this pandemic. It's not just America. Like everyone's going through COVID in one way or another. So you're definitely helping more than just like a protest, but helping people and like their livelihoods. So
Mhm.
definitely just keep raising awareness, doing your research, talking about it, donate if you can. And yeah, that's definitely a good way to like help this movement move forward. And I did want to mention one last thing. You said you were like a part of the Youth of Nigeria Association. So could you talk a
Yes.
little bit about that and if people are interested in getting involved with it? Because I know there's some Nigerians listening to this. So
Mhm. Yeah, the Youth of Nigerian Association, YONA, is a group obviously for the Nigerians, but like for anybody in general. Um in diaspora in Nigeria. Our purpose is to outreach, to connect every Nigerian with other Nigerians, to bring to awareness what is going on in Nigeria, not even just ENDSARS, everything else that's going on. to keep everybody up to date about the goings of our nation, to just be a community where every Nigerian could come and be welcome, to feel among, to feel safe, to voice their opinions, to have a platform, to promote themselves, to promote whatever they do, just to be human, just to be normal. So we are here to we are here for everybody. We are here to outreach. It is outreach to every single Nigerian. It's obviously mostly catered to the youths. Um, yes, because Youth of Nigeria Association, but it's for everybody. It's by Nigerians, for Nigerians, for everybody. But yeah, catered to Nigerians, and we would love to receive everybody. It is open organization. It is a family. It is a community. Yeah, the door is open for everybody, and yes, you can definitely follow us Instagram at Youths of Nigeria Association. And we're looking forward to meeting everybody and just speaking together and giving you guys a platform to be yourselves.
Yes. Like, y'all give them a follow because their Instagram is popping. Okay. They have a lot of good stuff on there. And they're doing a lot of great stuff. So definitely give them a follow on their Instagram and get involved if you can. So that's that's all my questions for today. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a really wonderful, amazing conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure, and thank you for giving me the platform to also do my part in bringing awareness to the topic and just keeping everybody up to date about where we're at and where we see ourselves to be coming in the future.
All right, y'all, that's it. That was our conversation, which I really loved. And I know that the movement is showing up less and less in our timelines, but it is definitely not over. So please do your research and do your part as police brutality affects black and brown people everywhere. And I'm going to put a link in the description where you can research and donate if you can and just learn more about this very important youth led movement. Okay, so now it's time for the culture shout out, my favorite part. So this week's culture shout out goes to the Youth of Nigeria Association because I really like them so much and y'all should too. So the Youth of Nigeria Association was established in 2017 and was founded by Chiamaka Arenze and a young group of Nigerian Americans. The organization serves as a voice for the Nigerian youth in the United States, Nigeria, and just all over the diaspora. Their prime goals are to enlighten, unify, and elevate the uprising generation through educational programs, volunteer opportunities, and exciting events. So whether you are Nigerian or non-Nigerian, this is definitely an organization that you should be following because they do so much for the community. They put out great content and they just have a lot of fun. They're just good vibes. So if you want to learn more about the Youth of Nigeria Association, definitely follow their Instagram at YONASSOC. They put out such informative, such great content on there and news about upcoming events. So once again, give them a follow on Instagram, on IG at YONASSOC. And if you would like a culture shout out, you could email me at collegefortheculture at gmail.com or just shoot me a DM on our IG and tell me about your business, your project, your platform, whatever it is you do, and you could be featured next time on the podcast. And if you have any thoughts on this episode or ideas on maybe another issue I should talk about or something else entirely, then hit me up on our IG at College for the Culture. Also, y'all, we're still in a pandemic, so please wear your mask, social distance, do all those things so that you can not only keep yourself safe, but the people around you safe, okay? Also, follow the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to it, rate it, give it a review. Let me know what you think. I would like to just give me some feedback, okay? Whether you like it, you don't like it, in between, let me know. Rate, review it, follow it, do all those things. And if you want me to talk about your college situation, if you're in high school specifically, then email me once again at collegefortheculture@gmail.com. Yes, that is it. That is all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, don't forget, follow the IG at College for the Culture. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Make sure you take care of yourselves. God bless you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.